On the phone today, we have a special guest, Shayna Baszler, going to be fighting Beth Correia this Saturday at UFC 177 in Sacramento. It's in our own backyard. Beth just fought one of the four horsewomen recently, and you're going to be facing her after coming off of 2 injuries. How are you doing?
I'm doing really great now. I think it kind of all worked out for the better because this fight's getting a little more attention than the other fights I would have had, and so everything happens for a reason, I guess.
Do you feel like
this is a good one?
So the fight's good for you. You're going to fight a girl who's calling out the four horsewomen, which is awesome. But all in all, with the UFC 177, do you kind of feel like that they've kind of dusted this card like under the carpet?
Honestly, I think they had this card put together, and I think having to shuffle everything around because of all the injuries and stuff that have happened has I don't think it's because they're like sweeping it under the carpet. I think they had to kind of dilute it and spread fights around because they're losing main events everywhere else, and I think it just it sucks. It's going to suck on the other cards too,
Oh yeah.
That's just the way it is, but I'm used to being the entertainment factor, so we'll see what I can do.
Now, you talked about that hype that this fight has been building. Do you think a lot of that has to do with the fact that she is kind of playing up that whole, she wants to take down each member of your guys' group and training partners, or do you think there's something a little more personal here?
Yeah, I mean, I think for whatever reason, anything around Ronda Rousey gets all kinds of media, right? I mean, she's the big star, she's the champ. And, I mean, it doesn't matter what she does or says. Everyone is very polar on it. They have to really hate her for it or love her for it. And by proxy, whatever we do, her friends, is garnered similar attention. So I think, Betch doing the four-finger thing or whatever, and fans jumping on that because by proxy it has everything to do with us and Ronda, and then they can argue about it. So I think the fans made it a bigger deal than I imagined it would be otherwise, of course, which is good, but it makes it easy for me. It's a good story to tell, and, honestly, it was smart on her part. It slotted her another fight, and heck, if she comes out and murders me, then it guarantees her the title shot pretty much, so it was a smart move for her. It got people talking. It wasn't something so blatant like flipping the camera off or something that they wouldn't play on TV, so it was enough to get viewed a lot, and, we'll see.
It was definitely creative.
If she still has that hand.
it was very creative. It seemed very WWE, which is not necessarily a bad thing. The marketing aspect behind it is awesome. But my question was, after that happened, what is the pecking order like in the four horsewomen? Like, did Jessamine Duke get kicked out because she lost?
Everyone's been saying that, but
and that's what happens in wrestling.
Yeah, but I mean, well, honestly, our win percentage, the four of us have a higher win percentage than the original four horsemen had.
True.
So if we're talking naming us after, everyone forgets that those guys were just used to put Dusty Rhodes over, and that was their big use. So to talk about we're not worthy of wearing that title, even though we have their blessing and all that, is lame, because in the end nobody remembers that. Even Muhammad Ali had losses.
Oh, believe me,
it's not really about you. You don't have to be this undefeated. It's what you accomplish throughout your entire career. So just because someone like Jessamine Duke or Marina, they're really green and young in their careers, they're going to do big things, and anyone that doubts it is just going to get swept up by the storm of it.
I'm not saying you guys aren't worthy of it. Believe me, I would not want to face any of you in a cage.
Well, you're one of the smart ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're way more worthy than I am. I couldn't walk around and wear that on my sleeve at all. If I was going to be one of the four horsemen of like eating ice cream, then I could totally do that. But not when it comes to fighting. You know what I mean?
Well, you can have the ice cream eating version then, and we'll keep this one in MMA.
I'm all for that. That totally works for me. Now, that also limits you guys on expanding, though. Like, what if there's somebody else who wants to join your crew? How would that work?
Well, I mean, if you want to get pro wrestling about it, there was always other members the Four Horsemen when Lex Luger became one of them, and then later turned on them. That could be a story. But you know, it's not so much. We're the original crew. If someone comes, like, I mean, Caitlin Young just recently moved out here. We had another girl, Jemima, a Dutch world champion kickboxer that trained with us for her last fight. We called her the .5. We're the original crew, no matter who comes along, and no matter who joins us or how in with us they get, or however you want to word it. But
I want to know.
So I think there'll always be that.
Who's the Arn Anderson? Because he was always, in my opinion, the underrated Four Horsemen. Like, he's amazing. Who's the Arn Anderson of the group?
I think we discussed that I was Arn Anderson because I really wanted to be Ric Flair because he's my favorite. And it was just, I had to concede that Rhonda's the face of us right now, so she clearly has to be the limousine riding, jet flying son of a gun.
Wild silence.
But I think Arn is fitting. Arn is fitting for me. You know, I'm not the UFC champion, but I think I've accomplished a lot in my career, enough that I'm satisfied if my career's over today. You know, and I think Arn was the same way. Kind of never really won the really, really big title, but clearly one of the best.
Oh yeah.
So at this point in my career, I think it's fitting.
I love how much wrestling you're into. I was into it for a while. I was actually into wrestling until I got into UFC, and then for some reason wrestling didn't have the appeal anymore. So I got to ask you, all time favorite wrestler, who is it? Ric Flair?
I would actually have to say Shawn Michaels.
Wow.
Because Ric Flair I was a little young to really appreciate Ric Flair while he was really active. So Shawn Michaels is who I grew up with, and he was the heel and then a face for a while.
The Heartbreak
He's
Kid.
got to be my all-time favorite, and probably Dean Malenko. Those two.
Dean Malenko? Well, Shawn Michaels ain't too bad on the eyes either, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. The Heartbreak Kid. There's a reason they call him that.
So obviously, talking about all this wrestling, everyone got to see you guys went to SummerSlam and got to meet a bunch of the stars backstage. How was that whole experience for you? And then I even saw on Twitter you got called out by Natalya.
Yeah, it was one of the, seriously one of the best days of my life. Like, that sounds like such a general statement, but I could put it in the top 3. Like, it was amazing, and, 12-year-old Shayna is super jealous of 34-year-old Shayna that got to go backstage at SummerSlam. It was awesome. And, I mean, I forget that a lot of those guys are crossover fans and big fans of MMA, too, so they knew who we were. So, I'm marking out on them. I'm like, oh, my God, you know who that is? You know who that is? And they're coming up, hey, can I take a picture with you guys? We're like, what? Like, I forget.
That's got to be such a weird feeling.
I turned back into that kid again back there. But, yeah, it was amazing.
That's awesome. So are we going to see you possibly take on Natalya then?
If she keeps talking about how she thinks she can wrestle us, maybe I'll have to. She comes out and trains with us when she's in LA. So she keeps calling us out. Maybe I'll have to not quite show her the super secrets of the submissions.
Are you going to put her in the swing?
Stretch her out a little bit with something. I don't know.
Nice. All right. Before we let you go, we know you got a tight schedule today. We got one more question for you. Dodge is going to ask you. It's a who would win in a fight question. So go ahead, Dodge.
All right. Who's going to win in a fight? A bear with machine guns for hands and feet, or a pterodactyl that poops chainsaws?
Ooh, I'd have to say the pterodactyl pooping chainsaws because he's flying around, right?
Don't think the bear could shoot him down?
I don't know if I guess it would depend on. I feel like the pterodactyl could fly out of range of accuracy of the machine gun, but I guess it would depend on what automatic weapon the bear was shooting. I think the movement and I don't know. I'm going to go with the pterodactyl.
This debate has been going on for years, Shayna, and I tell you right now, Dodge already he was team bear all the way until he went and saw a pterodactyl skeleton. And now he's team.
They're massive, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now he's team pterodactyl.
I don't know if I could switch totally.
And the claws. So if he got close range, he would still have weapons. I feel like, but I think his longer range stuff is scarier than I don't know.
I think just the accuracy of the pooping chainsaws is what concerns me. That might be his downfall.
He just littered the entire ground with
Well, that's
chainsaws.
true, but the thing is even if the chainsaw blade doesn't hit the bear, it still would hurt to get hit by a chainsaw.
It's
True.
Being dropped from 1,000 feet, yeah, probably. Awesome. Thank you so much, Shayna. I know you got stuff to do, so we'll go ahead and let you go. But this Saturday, UFC 177, happening right in our own backyard. TJ Dillashaw and Hayden Burrell, the main event. Shayna Baszler fighting Beth Correia. It's going to be awesome. It's right here. You got to go watch it. Best of luck to you this weekend, Shayna. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.